The story that continues to dominate national headlines is the hijab controversy, and it's getting murkier with every passing day. The BJP is alleged that the hijab issue is linked now to the ongoing assembly elections in 5 states. It is called the Karnataka Hijab showdown itself, completely staged. The BJP has also raised questions over the petition, hinting at this entire protest being pre-planned and questioned the link between involving students in elections. Now, in the latest, petitioner students have in fact filed an application before the High Court to postpone the hearing of the case till the assembly elections come to an end. This petition requests the court to adjourn the hearing of the case till February 28th, end of this month, because the elections are underway in 5 states, and that the case is being used, according to this petitioner, by parties for political gain and for polarization. Rajdeep Sardesai spoke exclusively to the Karnataka Education Minister B.C. Nagesh on this entire hijab controversy, as well as BJP's allegations of it being politically motivated.
Today, sir, also in the High Court, the petitioner's lawyer, Mr. Kamath, said he claims that in 2 years, the school in Udupi where it all started, the college in Udupi where this started, was not enforcing the hijab code, only came in December according to the petitioners, and he claimed that the students were wearing hijab before that. This is where the issue, according to the petitioners today, seems to have taken a political turn, that this was rigidly enforced in Udupi.
If you want to real fact, why did, if the school was allowing hijab throughout for last 2 years, why did these girls went to principal and requested him to allow their hijab? Hijab is their religious practice.
Because they changed the rules.
Why did they give the application in December?
Sir, because
when the UP elections were about to declare to be declared.
Sir, in 1 minute, are you in any way linking what has happened in Udupi to the UP elections? Are you telling me that all these protests have been orchestrated because of the UP elections, sir?
I am. Yeah, definitely. Yes. I am linking because this same petitioner had argued, had kept one Mr. Ravi Verma Kumar, and Ravi Verma Kumar has appeared for this petitioner and asked that the judgment should be a verdict should come after UP election. What is the relation between these girls and UP election?
Schools in Karnataka reopen amidst high security and prohibitory orders. Many schools like this one in Mandya asked students and staff members to remove the hijab before entering the school compound. At many places, arguments broke out between teachers and parents. The schools reopened after the Karnataka High Court restrained students from wearing any kind of religious symbols.
Objective is to provide quality education, and students come to school to study. Beyond these two objectives, everything that's happening right now is uncalled for, unnecessary, and a huge distraction to students.
The court continued hearing on the petition filed by students against the ban on hijab on campuses. The arguments by senior advocate Devdutt Kamath, representing the petitioners, were based on 2 main points. 1. The hijab ban is a violation of the right to practice one's religion. 2. The right to practice one's religion can be curtailed if there is a threat to public order. But this is decided by the government and not the College Development Committee, which ordered the ban. Meanwhile, politics over the hijab ban is turning nasty. In a bizarre analogy, Karnataka Congress leader Zamir Ahmed said that rapes happen in India because women don't wear hijab.
हिजाब मतलब मुसलमान के अंदर, इमाम के अंदर गोशा पर्दा बोलते हैं. आज आप देखे होंगे कि हिंदुस्तान के अंदर मेरे ख्याल से रेप रेट जो है वो सबसे हाईएस्ट हिंदुस्तान के अंदर है. वजह क्या है? ये गोशे पर्दे में नहीं होने की वजह से.
The ruling BJP is blaming the Popular Front of India's students' wing for the protest over the hijab ban.
They are just politicizing the issue. They are not clear about the matter. They don't have a clear opinion about the hijab issue or any other issue. They are thinking only about the vote bank. I think they should leave all these things and be a good opposition.
All eyes are now on the Karnataka High Court. Students are hoping for an early verdict on the hijab ban as many of them are facing term-end examinations. With Nagarjun Dwarkanath and Nolan Pinto, Bureau Report, India Today.
The Karnataka High Court, meanwhile, adjourned the hearing on petitions over the hijab row in schools and colleges till 2:30 p.m. today. So again, the hearing will resume. Let me just sum up for you what happened yesterday when you had Advocate Devdutt Kamath appearing for the petitioners in this case, argued that wearing headscarves is an essential practice of the Islamic faith. We break down all that happened in the court yesterday in our next report.
After schools in Karnataka reopened, colleges will open their doors to students on Wednesday. Students cannot wear any religious symbol, which means hijab remains out of the campus if the college authorities do not permit it. A final call on hijab will come from the High Court, which continues hearing students' petition against hijab ban. On Monday, the Petitioners' Council, Devdutt Kamath, pleaded for headscarves that match uniform color. He argued that the students have been wearing hijab since their admission, that is, at least for 2 years. Questioning a government order that backs the college bodies, the petitioner claimed the College Development Committee, which prescribed the uniform, does not have a statutory basis. The petitioner argued that the declaration made by the state that wearing a headscarf is not protected by Article 25, which guarantees right to practice one's religion, is erroneous. The petitioner also questioned whether a college panel consisting of MLAs can decide if public order will be affected if the right is exercised. After the High Court asked whether everything stated in Quran is an essential religious practice, the petitioner argued that the Quran says it is farz or duty to wear hijab. Is hijab essential to practice Islam? Do students have the right to choose what they wear in colleges? These are the questions the High Court will address as it continues the hearing on hijab ban. Bureau Report, India Today.
As the High Court hearing continues, the politics over the hijab showdown is turning uglier. Netas are continuing to throw around callous remarks. Karnataka Congress MLA Zamir Ahmed, who's facing outrage over his bizarre hijab rape analogy that he made last week, remains defiant, brazening it out. Zamir Ahmed now in a tweet said that his statements were made out of concern for women, and if someone's hurt, then he will issue an apology. This comes after the sexist MLA refused to apologize despite Karnataka Congress chief DK Shivkumar condemning the remarks and asking him to apologize as well as withdraw the statement. Zamir Ahmed had earlier said, and this is where the entire controversy kicked off, he said that rapes happen in India because women don't wear hijabs, claiming parda in Islam is used to hide the beauty of Muslim women. The Congress leader inferred that no hijab or parda means inviting rape.
हिजाब मतलब मुसलमान के अंदर, इमाम के अंदर गोशा पर्दा बोलते हैं। आज आप देखे होंगे कि हिंदुस्तान के अंदर मेरे ख्याल से रेप रेट जो है वो सबसे हाईएस्ट हिंदुस्तान के अंदर है। वजह क्या है? ये गोशे पर्दे में नहीं होने की वजह से।
Now, BJP MLA in Telangana has triggered a massive political controversy in Uttar Pradesh. In a controversial video, the BJP MLA here, T. Raja Singh, is seen threatening and seeking votes in the name of religion. This MLA from Hyderabad's Gosha Mahal Assembly constituency is heard saying that Muslim voters who are against Yogi Adityanath voted in huge numbers in Uttar Pradesh's second phase of polling, threatening voters. He said that people not voting for Yogi Adityanath will face repercussions for the same, as bulldozers and JCBs have been called to Uttar Pradesh. The BJP MLA further said that after the elections, those who have not supported Yogi will be identified. Raja Singh also appealed to Hindu voters to come out and vote in the third phase of assembly polls.
जो लोग भारतीय जनता पार्टी को वोट नहीं करते, उनको मैं कहना चाहूँगा कि योगी जी ने हजारों की संख्या में जेसीपीज बुलडोज़र मंगवा लिए हैं, उत्तर प्रदेश की ओर निकल चुके हैं। इलेक्शन के बाद में जो लोग योगी जी को सपोर्ट नहीं करें, उन सभी एरियाज़ को आइडेंटिफाई किया जाएगा और पता है ना जेसीपी और बुलडोज़र किसके लिए यूज़ में आते हैं, तो मैं उत्तर प्रदेश के उन गद्दारों को कहना चाहूँगा जो ये चाहते हैं कि फिर से योगी जी मुख्यमंत्री ना बने। तो बेटा अगर उत्तर प्रदेश में रहना हो तो योगी योगी कहना होगा, नहीं तो उत्तर प्रदेश छोड़ के तुम लोगों को भागना होगा।
Prime Minister Modi was back in Punjab for the first time after the big breach in his security that was reported last month. Sharing the stage with former Punjab Chief Minister Captain Amrinder Singh in Jalandhar, the Prime Minister launched BJP's mission Nawa Punjab as he took on the Congress government in the state, taunting it over the issue of his security as well, besides the infighting between Sidhu and Chani and much, much more.
A month and a half after the security breach impacting his convoy in Punjab, the Prime Minister was back in the state on Monday to address his first election rally in Jalandhar. The Prime Minister taunted the Congress government in the state over the security in Punjab, saying he was not allowed to go to a temple as the Punjab police could not ensure his security.
आज मेरी इच्छा थी कि इस कार्यक्रम के बाद देवी जी के चरणों में जाकर के नमन करूं, देवी जी का आशीर्वाद लूं, लेकिन यहां के प्रशासन ने, यहां की पुलिस ने हाथ ऊपर कर दिया। उन्होंने कहा हम व्यवस्था नहीं कर पाएंगे, आप हेलीकॉप्टर से ही चले जाइए। अब ये हाल है सरकार का यहां।
Mocking the infighting between Navjot Singh Sidhu and Charanjit Singh Channi in Punjab, the Prime Minister asked if the Congress party could really provide a stable government in the state.
कांग्रेस को उसके कर्मों की सजा मिल ही रही है। आप देखिए आज कांग्रेस पार्टी की क्या गति है। आज उनकी अपनी ही पार्टी बिखर रही है। कांग्रेस के ही लोग अपने नेताओं की सारी पोल पट्टी खोल रहे हैं।
There was no respite for the Congress, and one attack after the other followed. Taking a dig at the Gandhi family, the Prime Minister said the reason there was tension in Punjab was because a family was trying to rule the state through remote control.
कैप्टन साहब की सरकार को दिल्ली के नेता कह रहे हम नहीं चलाते थे, भारत सरकार चला रही थी। इसका मतलब यह हुआ कि कांग्रेस की सारी सरकारें रिमोट कंट्रोल से चलती है, दिल्ली से एक परिवार चलाता है। हिंदुस्तान के हर राज्य का भला करना ये भारत सरकार का दायित्व है। हमने प्रयास किया, लेकिन कोई परिवार रिमोट कंट्रोल से सरकारें चलाए, संविधान की परवाह न करे, तब तो देश में तनाव ही पैदा होगा, और यही काम ये परिवार कर रहा है।
The Prime Minister said it was time Punjab voted out the Congress. The NDA, he said, would create a Nawa Punjab.
आज पूरा देश मिलकर नए भारत के संकल्प के साथ आगे बढ़ रहा है। नया भारत तब बनेगा जब इस दशक में नवा पंजाब बनेगा। पंजाब का नया नारा है नवा पंजाब भाजपा दे नाल, नवा पंजाब, नवा पंजाब, नवा पंजाब नई टीम दे नाल, नवा पंजाब नई टीम दे नाल।
The BJP's new allies in the state, Captain Amrinder Singh and Sukhdev Singh Dhindsa, shared the stage with the Prime Minister in a show of strength ahead of the February 20 elections. With Manjeet Sehgal at Jalandhar, Bureau Report, India Today.
Bharat Mata Ki! Bharat Mata Ki!
Now, next story is the biggest bank fraud case to date in India, surpassing even those by the infamous Vijay Mallya and Nirav Modi. The promoters and directors of the Gujarat-based ABG shipyard have been accused of misusing and siphoning away as much as 22,000 crore rupees by the Central Bureau of Investigation.
The calm waters at these shipyards near Surat in Gujarat hide the storm brewing deep inside. This shipyard is, after all, the graveyard of Indian taxpayers' money. ABG Shipyard, which runs this facility, has been accused of a mega 22,842 crore rupees fraud. Perhaps the largest ever in the annals of Indian corporate history. The other scams by Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi, all on the run, pale in comparison. And this is the man in the center of it, ABG Shipyard's founder chairman, Rishi Kamlesh Agarwal, accused by the CBI of diverting funds, misappropriation and criminal breach of trust. A consortium of 28 public sector and private banks had lent money to the company. The loans turned non-performing assets in November 2013. All attempts to restructure failed. A subsequent forensic audit of the company revealed large-scale fund diversions and misappropriation. The account was officially classified as a fraud in 2019. It was only after more than 2 years of probe that CBI finally registered an FIR last week.
In large value frauds, CBI requires a lot of information, and basis the forensic audit, they also have to carry out a lot of investigation to unearth the complete sequence of events, which typically takes a year or two to complete, and thereafter only an FIR is registered. So I don't see any delay.
ICICI Bank will take the biggest hit with an exposure of over 7,000 crore rupees. Other big lenders include IDBI Bank, the State Bank of India, Bank of Baroda, Punjab National Bank and Indian Overseas Bank. Even the IPO-bound LIC is owed crores by the company.
No, there are very serious thinking, professional banking people who are sitting and looking at it. They're not doing it for anybody's sake. They're doing it for proper professional conduct. So I think we should allow that to have its full play.
An indication of the scale of the fraud is that despite being among the 30 dozen defaulters sent to insolvency in 2017, the lenders have failed to find a buyer of the shipyard. In fact, not only were there no takers to buy the bankrupt firm, 4 attempts to recover money through a public auction have also failed. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
The top international story of the day, what's playing out in Ukraine. Tensions remain high across Eastern Europe. Russia has said that it's not going to drag negotiations for days on end. Ukraine has said, meanwhile, it will continue to pursue NATO membership despite Russia's opposition. And that's got the United States involved as well.
Eastern Europe continues to simmer. While Russia maintains it is ready to defuse the security situation, the country has massed a huge force within striking distance of Ukraine. Moscow insists it will not allow endless negotiations on questions that demand immediate solution. The US says Russia could invade Ukraine any day now. Meanwhile, Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky affirmed it will continue to pursue NATO membership despite Russia's opposition.
Те саме стосується, вважаю, і представників засобів масової інформації. Не можна говорити, що ми патріоти, а потім перевозити свої офіси у Львів, чи у Варшаву, чи у Чехію, чи у Сполучені Штати, тому що є така команда. Я вважаю, що це нечесно. Тоді ви патріоти іншої держави, но любите говорити про патріотизм в Україні.
Zelensky also said that neither he nor his family had any plans to leave the country. Till date, Russia has positioned more than 100,000 troops near Ukraine's border, but denies any plans to invade. Western countries have already promised sanctions on an unprecedented scale if Russia does invade. The US has sent more troops to Poland and Romania. So far, there has been no clear indications from the two sides of any possible climb down. Bureau Report, India Today.
And for all the latest international news and much more, you can log on to our website, indiatoday.in. Do also download the India Today app. I'm slipping into a short break here on First Up. We'll be right back.